Hey Bag Maker, today I'm going to be talking about Zipper Ease, Tula Pink Daydreamer fabrics, bound quilt kits. The book review will be for a book called Ahead of the Curve. I'll be demonstrating how to add a chain purse strap to a bag, and there's a great giveaway at the end. I'm Sarah Lawson from Sew Sweetness. Thanks so much for joining me for Sewcial Sunday, my weekly sewing chat. Hey everybody, happy Sunday and welcome to Sewcial Sunday. Thank you so much for joining me for the show. I'm really grateful that you're watching, either if you're watching live or if you're watching the recording of the show later on in the week. Thank you so much for tuning in to Sewcial Sunday. So I saw everyone chatting before the show, lots of chatter, and I see Robbie says hello. Debbie's watching from Toledo, Ohio. Irene from Ontario, Wendy from New Zealand, and Vanessa. Hey Vanessa. Before I get started, a friendly reminder, just about everything that I talk about are things that I purchased myself. So these are not things that I'm getting paid to talk to you about, but just cool things that I found that I'd like to share with you. And everything that I'm scheduled to talk about, I link to in the description. So if you're interested in finding out any more about the books, projects, notions, or fabrics that I talk about during Sewcial Sunday, just check that link in the description and you can find out more information there. So I did a little bit of a switch up today for the notion of the week. I originally planned on a different notion, but then I realized I needed a little bit more prep work to do for that notion. So I'm instead going to talk about two notions. I think I purchased these almost a year ago, and they sort of sat in my notion collection area, the things that I purchased that I'm waiting to talk about on Sewcial Sunday. And it's not the most exciting notion, which is why I got pushed off for almost a year. I kept getting more notions that were more exciting, and so these kind of took a back seat, and I thought today's the day that I'm going to talk about them. So Danny's going to switch to the overhead camera, and these are the two products. So the first one's called Snapstick, and the second one is called Zipper Ease. They're both products for lubricating zippers, or as this one also says, for snaps. I'm assuming both can do zippers and snaps. This one's a little bit more expensive than the Zipper Ease. However, the Zipper Ease just came with sort of like a little piece of paper wrapped around it, and the Snapstick came in the box with kind of like a chapstick, an oversized chapstick cover. So I do like this more just for keeping everything contained. Probably why this one costs a little bit more, but they both serve the same function. So you can use a variety of different zippers for these, but I pulled out two metal zippers because I feel like the metal zippers in my stash are the ones that most frequently have issues with not zipping or unzipping super smooth. And so I thought to demonstrate, to pull out two metal zippers. So it was a little bit herky-jerky earlier, and of course now that we're live it's a little bit smooth, but let me demonstrate how to use both of these products. Again, we'll do the Zipper Ease first. So you want to test this out on a little scrap of zipper first before you move on to your actual zipper, so that you can test out the feel of it, how much to apply. I would suggest applying just a smaller amount, and you can apply it to both the right and the wrong side of the zipper, especially if you're having trouble unzipping. And so you just kind of apply it like a crayon just on the zipper teeth. And this one is applied in the same manner. Obviously the area where the lubricant is larger because this is quite a smaller piece. And so yeah, just glide it on there. This particular one, I liked it because the packaging gave more information. This one says that you can, it protects up to 3 months with one application. It says non-toxic, biodegradable, protects against corrosion. So I liked all of that extra information on there. And this one also didn't really smell like anything. This one had a very small sort of industrial smell to it even after I applied it to the zipper. So if smells bother you, this was the one that really didn't smell like anything. And so the zipper feels, obviously it wasn't super difficult to begin with, but feels nice and smooth. And So if you have any issues with Excuse me, I don't think that's ever happened before in the live show. If you have any issues with zippers or snaps, these are the two products I've linked to in the description. Again, Zipper Ease, and this is the snap stick. So I have a question for you. Let me know in the comments. Do you prefer metal zippers or nylon zippers? So obviously metal zippers. Nylon zippers are the ones with sort of plastic looking teeth. They're made of nylon, and these days they also have nylon zippers available with metal looking nylon teeth, which are really easy to sew with. In the early days, once in a while I would sew with a metal zipper, but to be honest, the nylon zippers are so much easier to work with for bag making, so I'm pretty much always using nylon zippers these days. But let me know in the comments what you are usually using. And I had a question on the show, I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, about our So Sweetness community cookbook that we put out as a free PDF a few years ago. I've linked to that in the description in case you're interested in checking that out. And again, the So Sweetness community cookbook was recipes compiled all from So Sweetness community members, basically their favorite recipe or their favorite family recipe, and those that wanted to contribute at the time. Again, this was a couple years now. Each person contributed one recipe, those that wanted to. So check that out if you're interested. My mom contributed a recipe for that also. So again, the link to that is in the description, and it's a free download. You just go to my blog using that link and download it, open it up, and you can print the recipes that you choose to print. So lots of fun things that I've added to my stash this week. Gosh, all this lovely fabric. Danny's going to switch to the overhead camera, and I'm going to share this Tula Pink Daydreamer fabric that I've added to my stash. So Tula Pink's newest fabric line is Daydreamer, and it's lots of, now that we're heading into winter in the United States, it's lots of fun colors and sort of summer-like themes. I really love this print with the leopards and the spots on the background, and the leopards are sort of hidden among the spots. As I mentioned, lots of bright colors. As you can see, the moths on this, the butterflies and the moths are smaller than in this second print. I really love Tula's small scale prints also, because in some fabric lines the small scale prints are really basic, and Tula always has really detailed small scale prints. I super love these little fruits. I just love them. I love the bright colors. I got a couple yards of both of these. And I like this one a lot too. It's very subdued, but super artistic as well. And these are sort of ombre. I guess I should have opened these up a little bit more. As you can see, like the colors kind of shift. And let me open this orange one too. So there's darker orange, and then fading into lighter. Macaws in 3 different colorways. Let's see, running out of space over here. I'm gonna put those on the floor for just a second. Flamingos. This is my favorite of the 2 leopard prints, or 3 leopard prints. I just really love the rainbow colors. Let me open that up a little bit so you can see the rainbow. Here's the 3rd leopard print, and then this last rainbow print. So again, this was Daydreamer by Tula Pink. Link is in the description, and I have one more thing to show you on the overhead camera. I purchased these 3 quilt kits from Moda and Bound Quilt Company. They actually come in these really cute boxes, and I unboxed one of them just because I'm going to start working on that one right away. So there is a raccoon. As you can see, it's a smaller quilt, like a crib quilt, but there's instructions to make larger sizes. Let's see if it says in the back. I'll show you when I open this owl quilt pattern. And the fox box, let me open that one up so you can see what it looks like on the inside. So the quilt pattern is in there, as well as the fabric enough to make the quilt top and the binding and the background obviously as well. It's solids, Moda solids, and let me just give you a little peek inside the owl pattern.
I wonder if that raccoon's for your dad.
Yeah, the raccoon one is actually for my dad. I know my dad's not a baby, obviously, but
he acts like one sometimes.
So I'm not going to show you the whole pattern, obviously, but just so you get an idea of the full color illustrations, and according to the pattern at least, the pattern is suitable for beginners with a little experience, and there's instructions. This is the basic layout, the crib quilt. There's also information for making the extended crib and the throw, which is 50 by 56, so that's a decent size. So even these are, I think, marketed for baby quilts, I would assume. Can also make it for yourself or to give as a gift. So again, a link to these in the description. These are from Bound Company and Moda, and the kits come with the pattern and solids to make the quilt top. All right, so while I was looking at those Tula Pink Daydreamer fabrics earlier this morning, I was thinking, oh, vacation, now that it's getting cold in Chicago. A vacation sounds awfully nice. So I wanted to ask, what is your favorite vacation spot? So let me know in the comments what it is. I'm looking forward to seeing an array of different locations, perhaps somewhere that's warm. Let me know in the comments what your favorite spot is. So looking in the Facebook group in the last few days, I had a thought. I was really excited to see so many handmade projects, bags and pouches and so on, posted in our So Sweetness Facebook group for gifts for the upcoming holidays. And I don't know, it just brought a little tear to my eye seeing all these wonderful gifts being made. So I wanted to share gifts made by two makers in the group. So first, let's see what Danny's going to put on the screen first as far as the pictures. How about the Lego sets from Cheryl? Cheryl made these amazing Amethyst project bags for her grandchildren, and the fun thing about these is that they were made to hold Lego sets, and here's the inside. There's the Lego sets, and Cheryl put mesh elastic pockets for placing the instruction manuals of the Lego sets, and then of course once the boxes are open, while they're working on the Lego sets, the Legos can stay nice and organized in those Amethyst project bags. So amazing job, Cheryl. I really loved your pictures.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it was a super idea. I never would have thought of that. And when Violet was little, she liked working on Legos, and I wish I would have thought to use an Amethyst project bag to store everything, because once you open the box, it's sort of all over the place with the Legos, and you really need every last little piece of Lego to assemble the project. So great job again. And the second set of pictures is from Carmen from Josie Nicole Handmade. And Carmen made this Widget messenger bag for her daughter. Her daughter wanted something to keep all of her media items, like her, is that a Nintendo Switch, I think? As you can see, the Widget included in the pattern has that little grommet in the front for a cord to come out for headphones or what have you. So great job, Carmen, and I hope your daughter loves her bag. And yeah, just keep them coming. I really love seeing all the pictures posted in the Facebook group, and it's truly a joy to see what you've been making, and what you've been making especially for special gifts. So Danny's favorite part of the show when he's not on it on Sundays, we'd like to invite all of the bag makers to stand proud. Let us know in the comments that you're part of the So Sweetness squad. Danny and I are so happy that you're here. Thanks for tuning in for Sewcial Sunday, and of course Danny will be joining me on the show next Sunday. The book review for this week is a book, I pre-ordered it, so I just got it in the mail. It's called Ahead of the Curve. It's written by Jenny Rushmore of Cashmerette. So she has, besides her book, she has a separate pattern line, and I'm going to share the book with you. So the fantastic thing about this book, obviously it's for making clothing. The fantastic thing, it's for sizes 16 through 36, or in the US 12 through 32. But what I love about this book is over half of the book is dedicated to measuring fitting, different fitting issues and how to fix them. So I think it's almost 180 pages. Maybe I'm quoting incorrectly. I'll let you know as we get through. It's over 100 pages dedicated to fitting and adjusting patterns. So I'm just going to flip through a few of the pages. Measuring, of course, when making garments, measuring is important. Even if you haven't made a garment lately, it's important to go off of current measurements rather than a measurement from maybe a year or two ago. Discussions of how to pick your pattern sizes based on your measurements. This is a really, really great garment making something to have in your library if you're interested in garment sewing. So as I mentioned, the first half of the book, or over the first half of the book, is dedicated to different adjustments, such as full bust adjustment. And there's a great image. Let's see, I think it's the next one. Yes. So here's an example of a full bust adjustment. This dress before, as you can see, there's a little wrinkle over here. And after doing the full bust adjustment, as you can see, nice and smooth, the wrinkle is gone. So all of that's discussed in the book. I really love all the illustrations, how everything's detailed. Another fun aspect of the book is sort of profiles about some of the models and garment sewers shown in the book, which is really awesome. Some of their interests, things they like to sew. I thought that was really cool. Here's more of the section on measuring and fitting. Another of the profiles of a sewist featured in the book. And then the patterns. So I bookmarked this page so I could let you know that the first 139 pages is dedicated to fitting discussion, which is fantastic. I really love that. And then let me show you the patterns. Okay, so the Curso top is listed as a beginner-friendly project, so a good place to start. The Honeyborn dress. The Stanway shirt, and this is sort of 3/4 sleeves, and this is what the technical drawing of it looks like. The Fox Hill dress. This one has the princess seams. Magna pants. And then I bookmarked, let's see. I bookmarked this page so that you could see sort of a taste of how the instructions are given in the book with illustrations. And then all of the pattern pieces are in a little folder in the back. And this is sort of what it looks like. The different sizes are designated by the different styles of lines or dashes. And then the pages are double-sided, so you'll need to trace off your pattern pieces rather than just cutting it out from the pages included with the book. And again, the book is called Ahead of the Curve by Jenny Rushmore, and the link is in the description in case you're interested in finding out more about this book. All right, so let me grab a quick sip of water. The demonstration for tonight is how to add a chain strap to a bag, and this is what I mean by a chain strap. So I had an email a few weeks ago asking if I would demonstrate this on the show, so gladly. And by the way, I love reading your emails. If you ever have a suggestion for me, you can always email me. My email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H. These purse chain straps, I got this one on Etsy. They come in different lengths, and so you'll just want to check depending on the length that you prefer. Before you purchase one, just check that it's the length that you like. And also, I linked in the description to this exact one that I purchased, but if you're interested in checking out an array of different purse chain straps, you can just type in chain strap in the Etsy search box, and you can see different lengths and different styles of the purse chain strap. So I'm going to have Danny switch over to the overhead really quickly. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find this little bag that I made years ago, but it's basically just sort of like a little zipper pouch, and I attached a shorter chain strap on either end. So this is from my book, Windy City Bags. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to locate the actual bag. I know it's somewhere in the basement, but who knows where. I stuff bags within bags within bags, so who who knows where it is, but I wanted to show you this starling bag. So the demonstration for tonight is using the tab style and D-rings, such as for the starling bag. The D-rings are for attaching the purse chain on either end, but I wanted to make a note. I feel like maybe this is just personal preference, but I feel like purse chain straps work best with smaller bags because obviously this is metal, and if you have a larger bag, chances are the bag is heavier and you might not necessarily want a heavy bag and chain on your shoulder. But I did wanted to show you this bag because I did have it handy in the studio, and the D-ring's a little twisted, as you can see. So a better size, I pulled a couple of other little projects for examples for a better size for a purse chain strap. These are both Paladin pouches, but I just wanted to give you sort of examples for a size range that would work a little bit better for that purse chain strap. And again, you might prefer a shorter chain or a longer chain, it's up to you. So I'm going to be sharing a video demonstrating how I added these little tabs of fabric and D-rings to the side of the bag. You can add this to the side of just about any bag and then clip on your purse chain, but for this particular demonstration, I used 3/4 of an inch D-rings, and then I cut 2 strips of fabric with Shapeflex interfacing. The fabric was cut 3.5 inches by 2 inches, and then the Shapeflex was cut slightly smaller minus the seam allowance. So enjoy this demonstration, and we'll have a little chat after that video. And then go ahead and pull out your side tab. So if you're using quilting cotton or another material, you should have a piece of Shapeflex interfacing on the wrong side. And if you're using cork, vinyl, or leather, your piece should be cut slightly smaller. So I'll show you both methods, how to prepare and top stitch. For the cork, let's start off with the cork. We're going to be drawing a line down the center. And I'm going to use Wonder Clips to finger press both of the long edges toward that center line. Next, you'll top stitch both of the long edges 1/4 of an inch in, and you'll stop stitching 1/8 of an inch away from the bottom edge. Now, to prepare this quilting cotton piece, if you're using quilting cotton instead, you'll fold the fabric so that both of the long edges meet, and we'll be stitching using 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. We'll sew this long edge and then just one of the short ends. The other short end will be left unsewn. Okay, go ahead and clip the corner, which means cut on a diagonal without cutting into the stitching. And now we're going to turn this right side out and press. So I'm going to use the Easy Point and Turner. So I'm going to slide the tool through the opening, and then I'm going to secure it to turn it right side out. Gently push out the corners, and then give this piece a press. And you'll be doing the same thing for this second side tab piece. So just as we did with the cork fabric, we're going to stitch both of the long edges using 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and we're going to stop 1/8 of an inch away from the bottom edge. So you can mark that on your edge if you prefer, so you know where to stop. Okay, so this next set of steps is the same whether you're using the quilting cotton or the cork, vinyl, or leather. So place the top raw edge at the top, and we're going to be measuring 1 1/4 of an inch down from the top edge and drawing a line straight across. take out the 2 D-rings, and we're going to be placing this side tab fabric on the D-ring, and we're going to fold back the fabric at the line that we just drew. So here's the back side where the raw edge is. I'm going to use a Wonder Clip to hold that in place, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the other D-ring as well. Now pull out the exterior of the bag, and we're going to be focusing on this top section of the bag where the zipper tab A piece is. I'm going to draw a line that's 3/4 of an inch down, and I'm marking it just on that zipper tab A fabric, and we're going to place this folded back edge of the side tab at the line, and it should be centered. So basically it'll fall within this zipper tab A piece. So we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the fabric. So work your way around this little side tab piece, and when you get to approximately 1/2 an inch below the hardware, you're going to sew straight across. And we'll be repeating this step for the second side tab piece and the opposite side of the bag. I'm just adjusting my stitch length because I wanted to come down in the corner. So I decreased my stitch length so that I wouldn't pass up that side tab fabric. And then I decreased to about 1.5 millimeters. And then after I stitched into the corner, increased it back to my top stitching stitch length, which is 3 millimeters. Okay, you'll sew the second side tab on in the same manner, and then if you prefer to attach a Chicago screw or rivet to the side tab, you can do so at this time. I hope you enjoyed that demonstration showing how to add the little tab with the D-ring to the side of your bag. For that particular bag in the demonstration, it didn't have a side panel, and so that's why the bag was partially assembled, or at least the exterior was. If you're working with a bag pattern that actually has just a side panel, you can go ahead and attach that tab fabric with the D-ring to the side panel when it's just flat and unattached to other parts of the bag. And again, in that example, I used 3/4 of an inch D-rings, and I cut those 2 pieces of fabric to 3.5 inches by 2 inches. And again, the link to this purse chain that I bought is in the description. And if you want something shorter or a different style, Etsy's a really great place for purse chains in different lengths and different colors as well. So before we get over to the giveaway, by the way, I wanted to let you know that we'll be doing 1 live giveaway today, and then 1 giveaway how we normally do, where you have a week to enter. So if you happen to be watching live, the live giveaway will be drawn from all comments that have been left on today's show so far on Facebook and YouTube. So if you haven't commented yet, go ahead and leave me a comment on the screen, and perhaps you have a question for me. Questions are great too. I'll be answering questions live in just a second. It can be a bag making question, question about a notion or tool, general sewing question, and I'll have an additional question for you at the end of the show, and we'll count that for the live giveaway. I'm giving away 2 boxes of Aurifil 40 weight thread. The thread that I use is 40 weight as well, and one of these will be a live giveaway, and one will be anyone can enter for a week, and I'll announce the winner on next week's show. So let's see. Oh, before we get over to the questions, I wanted to announce the winner of last week's giveaway, and that winner is Christy Katona. So congratulations to Christy. Please email me after the show. My email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H. So Danny has been, or I assume he's been, collecting questions so far. Barbara says, are those ombre? Tula Pink fabric? The ones that are ombre are the 3 with the clouds. I'm afraid if I jump off this high chair, I won't be able to get on quickly. But yeah, the 3 fabrics with the clouds, those were sort of an ombre coloring. And Yeah, those were the only ones that were ombre. Chantel says, what weight interfacing do you recommend using with cotton fabric when making bags? So it depends on exterior or lining fabric. So the lining fabric is the easiest one to answer because pretty much every single time I'm using Pellon Shape Flex interfacing, which is also known as SF101, I use that for my lining fabric. And then for the exterior, I'm generally using the interfacing as called for in the pattern, but if you're not working off a pattern, perhaps you're self-drafting something. I guess it depends on what kind of structure. If you want a bag to be soft but still have a ton of structure, I really love foam interfacing. My favorite foam interfacing is by Annie Soft and Stable, which is a sew-in foam. If you want a bag that's a little bit softer or slouchier, such as a hobo bag, perhaps Pellon Thermolam or fusible fleece, and sometimes I'll add an extra stiffener, such as for the bottom of a bag, either Peltex, Pellon Peltex, or Decoville Heavy is good for that. And if using those, I generally like to cut them minus the seam allowance in order to reduce bulk in the seams and make it a bit easier to work with and sew. Jennifer says, when thinking about placing straps on a purse, I've seen some with one tab on the back and one on the front, or both on the back like the Oriole. How do you decide which way is better? So I happen to have a bag behind me that kind of is part of your question. I don't have an Oriole bag. Those I did see in the basement earlier when I was looking for that other bag with the purse chain. But this particular bag, this is the Stingray bag, and there's one tab on the front, like you mentioned, and the other part of the strap is on the back. So I think this is maybe the first or second bag that I've done like that. I just wanted to try something different. Sometimes I like to mix different elements in the bag just to give, I guess, experience at trying different things. The Oriole bag does have both of the tabs on the back, so I guess just a different design element that I've thrown in there. I've certainly seen people make this bag by putting the tabs on the sides, so that will work as well, or even the tabs sort of stitched to the outside of the bag, like that Starling bag that I was demonstrating earlier. So there's no right or wrong answer, I guess, in this particular case, personal preference as far as the strap placement. Gina says, do you sell that tool? I'm assuming you're talking about that green tool that I was showing in that demonstration. We do have it in our shop in the Notion section. It's called the Easy Point and Turner. I'll actually add that to the description of the show after the show, the link to that. But it's spelled easy with capital E, capital Z. If you go to my website and just type in easy in the description, I'm assuming that'll pop up right away. Melissa says, I'm on Zoom with Christy Katona and she's so excited that she won. She says thank you and she'll be in contact with you. First of all, number one, that's awesome that you're Zooming together while you're watching the show. And number two, I really love when I choose a winner that happens to be watching live. Sometimes, especially when Danny's on the show with me, I can see the comments next to me out of the corner of my eye. And if I happen to see a comment for someone who I know I'll be announcing as the winner later on in the show, it just really is really very exciting for me. Yvonne says, what fabric did you use on the bag? The one you used as show and tell for the chain. Oh, this is actually a garment fabric, but I have occasionally used garment fabric for a bag and interfaced it with Pellon Shape Flex to take out the stretch, and then I'll use the interfacing that the pattern calls for. So this is a garment rayon fabric. It's designed by Sarah Watts. The fabric line is escaping me, but if you look for Sarah Watts, maybe cat fabric, it's Sarah with an H actually. This is a rayon fabric, this particular print. Super cute. I really love it. That's why I decided to use it for this bag, even though it's a garment fabric. Carol says, I've never seen a D-ring like that. Where did you get them? We actually have them in the shop. I have traditional D-rings, and these are just D-rings with like a little bar in the middle. In my shop, I call them split rings just because we wanted to make a little bit of a difference so we don't get confused when customers are purchasing different D-rings, but it functions the same as a regular D-ring, except as you see the little fabric tab can't really slide around because there's that bar there preventing the fabric from moving, which is really super great. I love it. Amanda says, oh, you're so amazing. Thank you, Amanda. Louise says, demos are so helpful. Thank you. And you know, in the case of tonight's demonstration, it was a request that I got, like I mentioned, via email. So I'd like to take all the credit for that, but as it was a request, I really appreciate it. And I do intensely think about all requests that I've received, and oftentimes they make really great content for the show as well. Carla says, does a wool mat make a difference in ironing? I'm not sure that I'd say it makes a difference from a regular ironing board, but it's certainly a little bit more portable. Like when we're filming our videos on this table right here, I use a wool mat just because it's smaller. Like I mentioned, it's portable. You can take it to different locations on your table, and it's really handy, especially if you're working on quilt blocks at your sewing machine, rather than, especially if your ironing board is across the room. It's really handy to have that little wool mat right next to your machine, so you can sort of press blocks without getting up and going back and forth. So it saves time as well, again, depending on the project, but wool mats are really great for pressing. Karen says, do you know where I could get that turning tool? Yes, the Easy Point and Turner. Like I mentioned, I will add that to the link in the description. I'll add that to the list of links after the show. I was thinking about it earlier. I was holding my bearded dragon before the show just so we could get some time together, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll need to add that link for the Easy Point and Turner. And then of course I forgot before I got back downstairs. Wendy says, do you interface canvas? That's a good question. So depending on if it's for the exterior or the lining, if I'm using a canvas fabric for the lining, I won't interface it just because it's thick enough. For the exterior, I'll generally still use the same interfacing as called for in the pattern. If it's really thick canvas, maybe like a duck canvas, maybe I'll try to take a step down in interfacing. Like for instance, if the pattern calls for foam interfacing, I might downgrade to maybe fusible fleece or Pellon Thermolam, which is also made of fleece. So it also sometimes depends on the project as well. If it needs an extra boost with the interfacing, or if it can go down to a different interfacing. Like for example, this little bag over here, smaller projects often foam is called for in the pattern, but especially if you're using canvas, you could probably downgrade to fusible fleece or Thermolam and it would still have great structure. Linda says, hi Sarah, your family likes games. Try the Genius Star Games. So much family fun, easy to learn, challenging to solve. I have never heard of that, so your comment makes me really excited because Danny knows I always love picking up new games. We have a lot of new games in the basement that we have yet to play, actually. Which one of your bags do you recommend to store thread? I don't like leaving them out to collect dust. I'm moving to a new house soon and I'm getting a sewing room. First of all, congratulations. I can't wait to see your new sewing room, and there's a few patterns that might work for thread that I've either put thread in myself or I've seen other people use as thread storage. For Minikin Season 1, the I Spy pouch, which has a clear vinyl window on the front, I have one that I use to put my threads in, especially if I'm going somewhere else to sew. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. A lot of the pouches are really good for storing thread as well. Thread spools, the free Windsor pouch would be good for storing thread. I'm sure there's a bazillion projects that are great for storing threads. So if you made a Sew Sweetness project for storing your threads, let us know in the comments and Danny will try to look out for a few of those to put on the screen. Terry says, is Thermolam the same as fusible fleece? That's a great question, Terry. So they're both made of fleece, but they're a little bit different. So fusible fleece is sort of a loftier fleece. Pellon Thermolam is also made of fleece and it's also fusible, but it's a needled fleece. So if you're familiar with, say, like warm and natural batting, it's a little bit more substantial like that. Fusible fleece is thinner, so if you want sort of a softer interfacing, but you still want the fabric to have a good weight to it, Thermolam would be a better choice than the fusible fleece. Jody Ann says, what would be a good dog bag for a service dog to hold large dog food, water, leash, go mat, and leash? Sometimes it's hard for me to think quick on the ball for patterns. I am working on something for next year, but I know that's no help to you now. As far as
Park Sling, maybe?
Danny's suggesting maybe a Park Sling backpack. That might be a good possibility. If anyone watching has a good suggestion for that, again, let us know in the comments. Patricia says, I'm thinking about buying a Cricut to cut my So Sweetness patterns. Which Cricut would be the best recommendation? I highly recommend the Cricut Maker. It can cut out fabric as well as interfacing and other materials as well, thicker materials, but the blade for that is perfect for fabric and interfacing. Teresa says, do you plan to sell more varieties of pattern cork, or will you stick with mostly single color cork? That's a good question. So my cork manufacturer does have a variety of pattern corks, and we've tried some over the years, and for whatever reason, they've just never been strong sellers. The two that were strong sellers are the two that we still carry, which are the elephant cork and the rose garden cork. Those sell like hotcakes, but for whatever reason, some of the other prints we've tried over the years, really we sold through the initial small amount, and then we just never reordered just because they sold so slowly. So I guess I'll keep an eye out to see if any interesting prints come along with cork fabric. I did see one recently with French bulldogs on it, which was really cute, but then I thought, I don't know how many French bulldog owners there are out there, so I'm not sure if that one will sell well. Who knows, maybe it will. Peggy says, do you recommend using a Scotch Guard or protectant on your bags? I guess it depends, personal preference. Perhaps if you're selling bags, it might be a good idea. I do have a video about Scotch Guard on my YouTube channel, so if you're interested in checking that out, you can just go to the So Sweetness YouTube channel and type in Scotch Guard in the comments. It is a water repellent and can potentially protect against some, repel some dirt. I am just not a habitual user of Scotch Guard just because I make so many bags. I can rotate them out every few months, and I guess I never had a huge problem with my bag staining, but especially if you're giving them as a gift or selling a lot of custom-made bags, might be a good option to use Scotch Guard. Joyce says, hi Sarah, question on zippers. I've noticed when I use zipper tape and once I put on the zipper pull and slide it, the zipper separates. In your videos, yours don't do that. Am I doing something wrong? So I'm not sure if you mean the zipper's a little bit uneven, like the zipper head is not straight, the zipper tape is a little crooked. If that's the case, I usually just take the zipper pull off and make a second attempt or even a third or fourth until I get it on and it looks pretty straight. If that's not what you're talking about, if you're talking about the zipper teeth are not close together like they should be, sometimes that happens when not using the correct zipper pull size with the zipper pull tape, or sometimes when using zipper pulls from different manufacturers, such as maybe using a YKK zipper on a non-YKK zipper tape. Sometimes that happens as well. Hopefully I answered your question either one way or the other. Deborah said, my iron died. What iron is that you use? So my iron I've had since 2013. It's the Singer Expert Finish iron. I think they came out with a new model recently under the Singer brand. I have that new one as well, but I still have my Singer Expert Finish. The reason I got that iron in 2013 was at the time I did a blog review with 5 different irons, and I tested them all out as far as how well they would iron, how well they would get out wrinkles, how heavy the iron was, and what extra features that it had. And so out of the 5 irons that I reviewed, that was my favorite, so that's why I still have it today. Can you use quilt batting instead of Pellon for a quilted bag? So yeah, quilt batting is a really good substitute for either fusible fleece or thermolam. In fact, I'm going to be making a Christmas stocking. The pattern calls for batting, and I've made the stocking before for a different, I was going to say a different person, but it's actually for a horse. But I substituted the either fusible fleece or thermolam, and those were great instead of the batting that the pattern called for. Danny, are you calling in on the questions?
Yeah.
All right, I apologize if I did not get to your question live, but I'll be back again next Sunday answering more questions. As promised, one of the giveaways for tonight will be live, a randomly drawn winner. And the second winner, you have until the end of the day this Saturday to leave a comment on this show. We compile all of the comments from Facebook and YouTube, and that's how we draw the randomly drawn winner. So the prize for the drawing that I'll pull on the end of Saturday will be this Aurifil thread box. Actually, Danny, can you switch to the overhead so I can show what's in the box? All right, so this is from Aurifil's Color Builder line from 2021, from this year. This particular box has 3 spools of 40 weight thread, and these are the thread colors, so neutral threads, and this is the prize for the drawing that I'll draw on Saturday night, this upcoming Saturday. And the second prize, this is for the live drawing. This is Aurifil's Red Panda bundle, and this is the thread colors that are inside there. So I will give you an extra question that you can answer in the comments before I draw the live winner. Danny, you could switch back to the front camera. So my extra question is, what is your favorite breakfast food? So let me know in the comments what your favorite breakfast food is. I really love cereal, and a couple years ago I switched to oat milk. So cereal with oat milk. I like, I guess, rather bland cereals compared to the rest of my family. So I like cornflakes, Cheerios. What else do I like? Raisin Bran. I haven't had that one in a while, but as you can see, rather plain sounding, plain tasting cereals. So I'll give you another minute to leave your answer in the comments about your favorite breakfast food. And I do often get questions about what thread I use. So these are 40 weight. This is the same type of thread that I use. I was tempted to keep these for my stash, but then I realized I had a lot of these colors already. So I thought it would be fantastic for a giveaway prize. So all right, we'll draw the live winner now. Danny, what range of numbers am I choosing from for
1
this?
through 82. Now it's 86.
How about 44?
1 through 20.
3. All right, Shannon Frost Mabry won the box of red Aurifil threads. Congratulations to you, Shannon. Please email me after the show. Again, my email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H. Let me write down Shannon's name really quick. And then, like I said, the second box I'll draw at the end of the day this Saturday, so you have almost a week to enter. So good luck to everyone for that giveaway. I'll have actually more boxes of Aurifil on the next 2 shows leading up to Christmas, so tune in for those. And thank you so much for tuning into Sewcial Sunday. I hope you have a great week and happy sewing. Bye, everybody.